Casa Demondo with the lovely Harriet, whose beautiful home this is. And Harriet is joining us today because our topic of conversation is living abroad with children, moving from the UK to a different location, literally uprooting everything your family know and plonking them and living somewhere else. I mean, I've done it. Leslie decided not to, and Harriet's done it as well. So how old were your children when you first came here?
My son was 16.
Oh, really? So he was a bit older.
And my daughter was 11.
So your daughter being 11, do you think she adapted better than your son at 16?
No. I think that they both have been in and out of adapting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think my opinion of bringing kids up anywhere today is quite strong.
Yeah.
Because I think it doesn't matter where you live. The problems are everywhere. They're not isolated incidences. They're just being a parent in the world today.
Oh, yeah. There's sort of different parenting styles as well.
Of course.
And do you think as well that I mean, because I moved my kids as a family, we moved to Spain, so which is fairly similar, obviously, here to Portugal. But do you think that I felt that there were different sorts of problems and much more positives to living in Spain than there were to living in England? I mean, I think it was brilliant for mine to learn another language and to have the outside life, the outdoor life that they did.
Yeah. And how old were yours then when you moved to Spain?
James was, I think he was 9. I'm not good at my kids, am I? I can never remember.
Forget their names, they're
James
ages.
was about 9. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Scarlett would have been about 10 or 11, I don't know. Sasha would have been about 13, something like that.
You see, now, I think they're tough ages for all of your children.
Charlie was 16, I think, something like that. No, 15, I don't know. But we took the decision not to move him. He stayed at school in England because he was going to start, he was in a great school exams. And he was going to do his exams, bright boy. I don't know what happened. But yeah, Charlie stayed there and used to come out on a Friday lunchtime and go home on a Monday morning or Sunday night or something, turn up with however many friends and have a great time, you know. So yeah, we did, but so the family was a bit divided, but I don't think it did anyone any harm either. It was
so for me, it would have been a concern about the language. You know, for me, I would have thought, they're starting a school. You know, for you guys, a Spanish or a Portuguese school, not knowing the language. You know, and I think when they're little, when people move over here with little ones, you know, age 3, 4, 5, I think that's great timing, don't you? But when they've got to the age of yours. They're a little bit more. I
don't
know. Left their friends behind in the UK and stuff.
But I was mine were at the age that it was a good time because it was sort of, what can I say? Because we took the decision not to bring Charlie full time. You know, high days and holidays, but and he was a really bright kid, and I wanted him to continue with an English education. Sasha, it's fair to say, and she won't hate me for saying this, but she's not that academic, so it was fine, but she's really, really fantastic with languages. Yeah, she's brilliant with languages. So it was a big adventure for her, and it was absolutely fine. And Scarlett she loved it. James was young enough. It was all a big adventure, and I did discuss it with them. Yeah.
So are there international schools here, Harry? Was it an international school that yours went to?
So when we first decided to move here, I knew that both children were coming out of a certain part of their British education.
Yeah.
My daughter was coming out of primary. She was in year 6.
Yeah.
And my
so
son
that's a good time
and
to
my
move.
son had just done his GCSEs.
Oh, right.
He didn't really know whether he wanted to do A levels even at that point, so it just felt like the opportunity.
So that was good timing.
That's perfect time.
Well,
It's really good.
So, but you know, then I wanted Gia to go. I wanted them both to go to Portuguese school
to immerse themselves in the language, to make friends.
But I came to Portugal, and when the house was being built, and I stayed at my mum's house. And I came with a friend, and I met up with somebody who really helped me. She was amazing, and she helped me fill out all the applications for the schools and do it all. And then I just assumed we were in. And then we moved here in July, and then when we went in September to the schools in Lule and Bullingham, they were like, sorry, they're not on the list. So they didn't have a place.
Oh no.
And so then we decided, right, well, Dylan was going to take some time off, so he did, and he just worked with us building Casa Demondo. And Gia instantly went to a small private school. That we could, that was affordable and that we could get
at the
into
time.
really quickly.
Well, that's important, isn't it?
Yeah, because the demand is so high here.
But then a lot of people, when they come here, they do an alternative. They do the homeschooling thing.
Yes,
and
that
I know
wasn't
that's
around then.
No,
5 years ago,
that's
no one
the
was
thing.
doing that.
But I know
Before COVID.
Yeah, the last couple of years, that's become really big.
Since
Isn't it?
COVID.
And you can do the whole English curriculum, and it's really successful for a lot of kids here, isn't it?
Well, actually, I think that's globally. And the reason for that is the COVID question.
Yeah, definitely.
And also because I think that today, in the way that...
So you found it a bit of a nightmare trying to actually register the kids for a state school here. So you ended up in a private school.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was really lovely, actually. I thought that the community side of it was really nice, and Gia made friends and we made friends.
Yeah.
We were just here. So I think the thing about school, it doesn't matter where you are, it gives you a instant friendship base.
Yes, definitely.
When you move somewhere new.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a really big
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
when you don't come with children, you don't have that option. You have to find other ways to meet people. You know, bang, you're straight into, she was 11, going to have people, sleepovers.
Oh, you're instantly going to make friends.
Yeah, so that part of it, I think, is a bonus when you come with kids.
Yeah.
As far as like the language side of it, you're right in what you said. I was
Put
really
them into a
worried.
state school.
I was worried
Yeah,
about that.
they'd be immersed in it, wouldn't they?
But I was
It's
also
still worrying. I'd be worried.
Yeah,
I'm
also,
worried.
the thing is, I think again, it depends on each child. You know, you've got so many. Everybody's so different.
She's got how many?
You know,
She's got so
one
many.
child might be like really adverse to it, and the other one might not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to read the situation at that time.
Yeah.
And Gia was very shy and quiet, and so it was, it felt better, and I felt better putting her somewhere where she was going to speak the same language.
So now does
There's
she
no
speak?
doubt.
Does she speak
She
Portuguese?
can understand and speak a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
But that's
really
from
good.
her own learning, really, from
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
not from...
Has she got Portuguese friends?
She's got a mixture of friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different nationalities.
Yeah.
Because obviously when they're in international school. Mind you, when my kids went to school in Spain, there were 36 different nationalities in that school.
Yeah.
But it's just
Wow,
incredible. Yeah,
really?
yeah, 36
Wow,
nationalities.
Gosh, wow.
But that's really
Yeah.
weird, though, because
I thought that.
my stepson, who's 30 this year, so I brought him up in the States for 8 years with Mondo and his mum. And, so I think learning all over the world is different. But I also think that as much as anything, I think COVID has changed the education world.
It has.
Because they're, like when you raise your kids through
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
imagine you're raising your kids through school and suddenly they're not allowed to go to school.
Yeah.
I think that would have been terrible.
Oh,
That would have been
terrible. And
dreadful.
for 2 years, right?
What would I have
2
done
years.
with all of that? I would have had to have spoken to
years.
them and things.
Yeah.
Talk to
Yeah, well, I know a friend of mine in the UK. She has
so-
3 small children, all at junior school level, trying to homeschool them. She
God,
was
how
pulling her hair
difficult.
out.
And for the children's mental health as well.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I don't think that's... Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I don't
It
think
wasn't
it's
about
good for
me
them.
because
No.
I wasn't learning. Obviously, as a mum, you're suddenly changed and forced to do something different that you've never done before.
But they need that interaction
Yeah, of
with other
course they
children,
do.
don't they?
Yeah.
And they need the discipline and the boundaries of school. It's
Boundaries.
really, really difficult, I should
That-
imagine.
that's the hard part
Yeah.
about being a parent.
Oh, you've got
Is
to.
boundaries,
Yeah.
and I think that when you haven't got school to help you with those boundaries,
Yeah.
then it's really hard.
I have to say, I am a very hard parent. I love them all very much.
So
I
did
was
they all
very,
have consequences
very
if
strict.
they had done something wrong?
Oh, always.
Severe consequences, or to each person different?
They're different to each one because
There wasn't like one rule in
No,
your house.
no.
that if you
Because
did this,
I
you're gonna-
do appreciate that every child is different,
Right, okay.
and grounding Julia was like, oh, terrible. Whereas Nell wouldn't have cared, but then Nell
Yeah.
was perfect. Nell never, ever did anything wrong, ever. No, she did once in her entire educational career. she once got a detention because she didn't have white socks for PE.
Oh, bless her.
And she was devastated.
What's she like now? Is she still a good girl
She's
now?
perfect. Yeah.
Well done now, being
But
so perfect.
Second one down. Second one down. No.
Well, I almost moved my children abroad. I bought some land in France with my first husband, and we were going to run a catered ski chalet in the Alps, and both of my kids love skiing. And, you know, my daughter showed an interest of being perhaps a ski instructor. And I think
fantastic.
at the time they were about 13 and 10. And I thought, right, perfect time. You know, I spoke quite good French, so that, but I was concerned. You know, they were 13 and 10. They had great friends, you know, back in the UK. So there was part of me thinking, am I doing the right thing? Yes, to give them a fantastic life living in a ski resort and skiing on a Saturday and
But
Sunday.
to uproot them.
You know, rather than on their Xbox or mooching around town in the UK, because you don't really do much else in the UK with the weather, against them leaving their friends and everything they knew at 10, 11. As it was, I left their dad anyway, so we never went, so it wasn't really an issue.
But you know, the outside kind of life here, and Spain, Portugal, Mediterranean, where the kids can be sailing, riding, one played rugby, any sport.
They're outdoors
going.
more, aren't they?
Yeah,
than in England.
And they played tennis. They'd play tennis at, I know it sounds a bit strange, but I had no problem at all with the kids being out at 2-3 o'clock in the morning in the height of the summer in the floodlit tennis courts, because it was cool enough to play then. So they'd stay inside for the heat of the day, and then, you know, go out in the evenings. And it is a bit of a skew with kind of lifestyle, but, you know, it worked. And they do spend so much more time out of the house, outside. And as much as, you know, it's great to get a shot of them once in a while, it made me feel really good to think that they were mixing with other children, playing paddle or playing tennis or golf or whatever it was they were doing. And I think that's so much healthier for them.
But don't you think, though, that sounds very similar to our childhood in the 70s?
Yes.
That's the difference, isn't it? I remember as a child in the 70s, I lived on the beach, practically. My house was right opposite the beach and near the woods. We used to go off in the evening making dens in the woods with like rope swings with a tyre. And, you know, you'd go out in the morning, wouldn't you, on a Saturday, whatever time you got out.
Little house on the prairie.
And you would get up, you would go home for tea, wouldn't you? You'd be out all day and you'd get home for tea.
I mean, listen, I lived in central London growing up. So, you know, but at the end, behind my mum's road, there was a back road that was a dead end with bungalows on the other side. So it was like a double road. And it just meant that all the kids back in the 70s would go in the back road.
Lovely.
So that's where we were till 11 o'clock at night playing badminton, riding our bikes.
Hopscotch.
Unfortunately, I think that today, in the world that we're living in, you know, that is a lovely thing. And I thank God every day I grew up like that.
Yeah. And it's a shame, isn't it? That it's not.
I think that for now, when you talk about the subject of what's it like bringing kids up in Portugal today, I think that, you know, if you are fortunate enough to be able to have that lifestyle here and go to tennis clubs and go riding, there is a financial commitment to that.
Of course there
so
is.
my advice would be anyone that's coming here, think about that.
Think about the oh God, the financial commitment's huge.
It is.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh,
especially here in the Algarve.
Yeah, it cost me a fortune
as well, isn't it?
It did.
But you don't. I think unless you come when they're little, they go to nursery school here. They go to elementary school and they learn Portuguese and can just be in the Portuguese system. If you're not in a position to do the private system, then I think you need to bring them much younger. Is what I in answer to your question.
In hindsight,
bring them when they're younger.
You'll come younger. Yeah.
If you could do anything again, Harriet, would you happily have done the same again?
Yes, but I just would have, if I could have removed COVID from it, that would have been great.
Fantastic.
That's the only thing that...
COVID's got a lot to answer for, hasn't it?
has.
So on that note,
Thank you very much.
say goodbye. Thank you.